I'm always like lurking, so I don't really type in the chat.
Oh, right on. Maybe not then.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Cali Brick Clique. I am here, Claire, the plastic architect, with my buddies Shy from SHYtimeisMytime, Ninja from Ninja with the Brikx,
Yeah.
and Ross from MrSaurus / the Emmasaurus team.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, thanks for joining us, Ross. And just as a quick reminder before we get into it, next week's episode will be on Shy's channel. And correct? Right?
Yeah.
That's good. Are you just shocked of the organization?
I'm shocked.
And all of our podcasts can be heard on all formats and all platforms where podcasts can be heard, which I'm pretty sure is what? Spotify, Apple
Podcast,
yeah.
Google,
Awesome.
everything.
Cool. So if you are a lurker, a walker and listener, a watcher, you can still have all your options to listen and to enjoy the podcast and to hopefully lull yourself to sleep. And, maybe I'll get myself closer to the mic and do a little ASMR. But anyway, guys, welcome back to Cali Brick Clique. And anyway, how are you guys doing? Ross, what's new? Shy, what's new? How are you guys doing?
I'm tired.
Yeah, feel that. Just first off, thanks for having me. I'm pretty excited to finally be asked to be on here. Not like I had to pester people to let me on. But no, I'm really excited to be here. It's a really fun podcast I like to listen to on my Fridays. Nice. Yeah, what's new with us? Pretty much, we're just gearing up for this double VIP week that I think it goes all the way to the 20th, right? So
it does. 12 to 20. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Did you? Oh wait, are you gonna get anything? Or have you already got something?
Yeah. Yeah. We could go over that.
Are we running a future vlog or like what?
Yeah, it'll probably make its way into a vlog. That's how we justify it. Is if we monetize our hobbies, then we can do it.
Right.
There you go.
It doesn't even out, but
but it still counts.
It still counts. Yeah. So plus it's double VIP weekend, so there's more return.
Exactly.
But yeah, I've been really excited about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier lately, and it's kind of got me back into Marvel. And now I'm like, you know what? I really want that Shield helicarrier set.
Wow!
Wait, the older one or the one that just
the newer one,
okay.
The one that's still on shelves.
Yeah,
at least I hope it's still on shelves. And then it comes with like MODOK and some cool stuff. And it's just, again, it goes back to my bitterness as a Lego Star Wars fan, how there's like nothing. It's just bone dry out there on the shelves these days. So, you've seen, I've gotten into Lego Elves is one of my most recent passions.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Your passion is not Emily's.
Both of us are equally into it.
It's okay. You could just say it's Emily's passion.
No, I really don't think it is. I've heard.
No, I genuinely like it. I'm actually pretty hyped on it. It's pretty cool. I really like the pieces that they use and the colors.
Yes.
They have. Don't they have like a lot of translucent pieces?
Yeah, there's tons.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of that, and then just a lot, and it's actually like pretty hardcore. There's an anime on Netflix about it, and about one of the series comes with an anime. The other two series are like webisodes or something.
Yeah,
those ones are like more for kids, kind of like kiddie. But like, there's the one that's an anime, and it's just pretty sweet. There's like man-eating plants everywhere, and you're like, what is this? This is supposed
Elves
to be
done, right? Like Elves is done as a line, right?
Yeah, it's canceled.
But you can still see all these things on like streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right.
I think didn't Elves end like a couple years ago? I feel like right when I got back out of my dark age, that's when Elves ended.
18,
something like that.
I think 18. I came back at 18.
And like Friends was obviously still going strong. I wonder if like Trolls is kind of like, I know it's just like pretty short just for the movies and stuff, but it's kind of like a very whimsical, fun theme that there's like a few ties to it. I prefer Elves over Trolls a lot, but there's a lot of similarities.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like Elves ended with Lego Movie 2.
It sounds right.
Yeah, because when Lego Movie 2 they implemented the whole Friends mini doll Elves like
they did
where it's okay, like pretty much the theme is like it's okay to intermix both elves mini dolls and
that went over my head.
Well, you didn't notice that
it was like he was supposed to play with his sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was subliminal messaging telling me that mini dolls were okay to play with.
It's always
yeah. She had all the friend sets. That's what she
Journal
had.
Mayhem. Journal Mayhem's a mini doll.
Yeah, I remember. I wish I kind of got her now because she looks pretty cool. But
she's dope.
You guys gotta get. Okay, I have to find this set. You guys gotta get this one. So I'll be right back. You gotta get that Lego Movie 2 set that has the elves in it.
Oh, you're talking about the palace? Not the palace. It's the one with the
spa or something.
Yeah, the spa, the one with the vampire.
This one.
Yeah, that one.
This one, yeah.
That's what I thought you meant.
Elves reminds me of is that set, like the translucent pieces with that type of elf, the vampire elf, or the vampire mini doll.
Yeah. That's what I thought you meant by that. That was like the last set for elves.
Yeah, doesn't that remind you of it? Like
it does look like it. It's not really it, but it does remind me of it.
That's what I feel like elves ended when Lego Movie 2 came out, because that was the introduction to it, like mashing both the minifigure and the mini doll in, and then Friends is just on its own like always. So. Kind of sucks. I didn't really get into elves. I always thought they had pretty interesting sets. Like from
a lot of people say the dragons from elves are top notch too, compared to other Lego ones.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think Ninjago obviously has some killer dragons, but
they're getting better.
Foldable dragons, or are they dragons, like dragons from like Vikings?
No, they're cuter.
Okay,
yeah, they're not as like ridiculous as like the Raya one. That one looks terrible.
Yeah, but that one, to be fair, I don't blame Lego for that one. I think
that was Disney's fault.
Yeah, I think Raya, the actual dragon, doesn't look that great either.
Okay, got it. Okay, good. Fair.
So, Claire, are you buying anything or what?
Okay. Well,
I did. Next.
No. I did buy something. I bought a couple sets. I bought the Ninjago. The what?
It's only been 24 hours.
Well, I know this is what I was thinking about, and I just like bought it because so the way that I had all these dreams, I wanted, all these different sets, and I was like, wait a second, let's be real, let's focus on what's being retired, and that's like how I can focus my attentions. And so I got the T-Rex Rampage.
Cool.
Okay.
Nice.
And I got the Bony Dragon, the Ninjago one.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Oh, okay, yeah. No.
Cool. Okay, I didn't think you were going to get the Ninjago set, but that's actually
came out left field.
There's that whole. I mean, I love dragons. First of all, it looks like a really cool build, and I am collecting like that series, with like the Skull Sorcerers thing, and I have like all the ones that come with like the gray pieces. I really think the builds look really cool. I like them when you all connect them all together, and then I really think it would make for great pieces, especially after doing my 1K loot haul and learning how expensive those dark gray slopes are. I'm like, anything that has dark gray slopes, and if I like remotely like the set, I'm buying it.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous of those dark gray slopes.
I need more of those in my life.
Well, I tried, so I'm working on my mock for like mockumentary or whatever, and I'm like trying to do all this. I'm trying to do all this rock work right underneath, and I'm trying to use like all the light gray I can use. Because I don't even want to start touching my dark gray unless I have to. So yeah.
And I see you went with Mills. Very nice.
I did go with them. Yeah, because I'm trying to like future plan, even though I don't have a city that has Mills plates now. It's like any mock that I do that would go in my city, I want to preemptively add these to there. Plus, it's a good way to use up these larger bricks that I'm not really going to use for anything else, and they take up obviously a ton of space in the drawers, so I can immediately put them on here.
Filler bricks.
Yeah.
That makes it more sturdy.
That's the energy, I'm like, thinking about moving there. So it's like this Miami dream house right here. Yeah. But how about you, Shy? Did you buy anything, or are you going to buy anything yet? Nothing.
I'm going to buy something. I just don't know how much and what.
Okay. Yeah. Cause it's hard. It's really not that big of a discount.
Yeah. But I'm trying to get that last coin.
Oh, that's right. That coin.
I need to get something to make sure I'm over the threshold to reuse that coin. So I'm gonna use that. If I'm gonna like you said, if I'm gonna buy anything, might as well buy something big so you get double the points for it. So
yeah.
Now I'm
trying self-control. I'm trying to be like Ninja right now. And it's
self-control.
Exactly. It's important. It's
important. If the Star Destroyer was available, I probably would have jumped on it.
Oh, I think the Millennium Falcon. Oh, if the Millennium Falcon, I would have bought it. Yeah.
Or Mos Eisley's not even on there, but maybe it might jump on
another Falcon. Just to have one, yeah. They have them in our store.
Are you gonna get another one?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Just like Emily wants one just to invest it, just to like keep it and sell it later.
Hold it and sell for double when it eventually retires.
Yeah.
How long
If
has
you guys
that
have
been
the
out?
room for it, I mean, might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, if you have room. Screw it.
How long has the Falcon been out? It's been a while, hasn't it?
4 years? Right?
Dang.
4 years? 4 years now?
That's a while.
Yeah,
I'm looking at my wish now.
But that's the one that, I mean, it's just so fascinating that, you know, it's not even retired and it still has its own resale market already.
Right.
Because of that, I don't think Lego's gonna retire anytime soon.
The bonsai tree, or not the bonsai tree, like the bouquet is like that also.
Yeah.
Even though that's because it's newer, I guess. So, but still.
And so, yeah, it's interesting, like those kinds of things. But I mean, you at least have a peek into, you know, it's going to be like if there's any sure evidence that it's going to go up in value, it's that it already has.
Yeah.
Unless they somehow just re-release a second or a third one like immediately after, kind of like they did with the Death Star playset.
They just like replace one for the next kind of.
Just redo it pretty much.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one's more iconic, even if they made a new one. Like this one.
See, I think Lego needs like an awe piece that you can buy. Like whenever time you go to a Lego store, you always have those like large Lego builds, master build Lego builds that you can't buy. But then you see that Millennium Falcon, and whether you're a fan or not, when you walk into the Lego store, you bring if you bring your friend in who knows nothing about Lego, you bring them to see the Millennium Falcon, and they're always like, "Oh my god, $800 that's expensive." But then you're like, "Dude, this is the reason why," and you start explaining everything, and then it's just like, it becomes a set. It becomes an art piece that you could actually buy because you can't buy the giant Darth Vader that's built in Lego.
Or do you think they were trying to do that with the Coliseum?
Yeah, but it won't have the same type of like feel. Like everyone knows what the Coliseum is, but not a lot of people are gonna care.
Well, it's not even that. Cool. I don't even think that's true from a cultural identity perspective, just from a sheer mass. Like when you walk into the Lego store or you like walk by it, it does look cool in like a window display, but it's not the same thing. It's not like half a wall where you're like, oh my God, what is that? Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, you could literally like, but for like pop culture reasons, like that the Falcon is identifiable. Like everybody knows what it is, even if you're not into Star Wars. So,
and doesn't it have like doesn't it have all 3 generations of like minifigs?
Just 2.
The new one has 2.
Oh, it has 2.
Because the Falcon wasn't really, well, depending who you talk to, it wasn't in the prequels.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Not the prequels.
Not like that.
We need more prequel love.
So yeah, I mean, like, I feel like if they do take it down, they're gonna have to replace it because I don't think the Star Destroyer does the same type of awe.
Oh, no, definitely not.
But that's my same opinion goes with the Disney Castle.
Yeah,
like, I don't feel like they're gonna retire the Disney Castle because there's no Disney thing that can replace that type of icon,
except for another Disney Castle.
Yeah, exactly.
A different one, isn't it? Cinderella's castle right now that we have.
Yeah, but even if you were to do the one in Disneyland or Paris or Tokyo, none of them are going to be. It's not going to be the same thing. It's the Cinderella's castle out of Disney. It's in every movie. It's in every
the original Disney World.
It's in everything. Even the trains in it too. But
they can't replace. Even if they replaced it with like Epcot or the Tree of Life, it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. So
which are good ideas to add on though.
Anywhere.
I'm really curious. Ninja, are you gonna get anything, or are you holding back for this round?
I think I might be holding. I don't know now because I forgot about that coin. So
yeah,
I might have to do some things.
Sorry, if you could hear my kids next door. I'm sorry.
No, fine. No, but on that note, I think it's a good point to transition to one of our main topics, which is kind of Lego kind of then and now, and Ross, like all of us, had his experiences obviously as a child that led to who he is as a person now. And we saw in a recent vlog that you got all your sets from your childhood back, which is so cool. That was one of my favorite vlogs that I saw of you guys. Yeah, it was super fun. And Emily being like, what's that? What's that? What's that? And you're explaining and remembering. And you're like, this one was so cool. But like the way that you had packed some stuff was like really poor or really well. But yeah.
I didn't pack all of that. I
didn't
have a choice in a lot of that. It was
thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
But I know that like most of that stuff was obviously like Star Wars and some Harry Potter and other things like, sprinkled in. But let's talk a little bit about that experience, like getting that stuff, that blast from the past, and then, maybe how it like influenced you now and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. So, kind of going way back in time, I grew up with Lego, just, like a lot of us did. I don't remember like my first set or anything like that, because apparently when I was like 4, my mom bought me Duplo, and I used to build, it was either I used to try to build rifles with it, or I remember I remember it really well. I used to build like this weird thing around my arm, and then I would go get butter knives and put it in there and pretend to be Wolverine a lot.
Oh my God.
And that was my other thing.
That sounds very dangerous.
Yeah. And then my mom was like, well, he's done with those Duplo. Maybe we should get him some of the more advanced stuff to keep him busy.
Dang, can we rewind for a second and just imagine you running around with 3 butter knives?
Well, I wasn't like that chaotic of a child. Like it was like my mom was interested in it. I was like, hey mom, can I see the knives? She's like, why? And I was like, I'll show you. Like, I promise I won't hurt myself. And she's like, okay. And then I was like, look, I'm Wolverine. And then she's like, okay.
See, it couldn't have been.
It wasn't Ezra style. Yeah.
It couldn't have been that bad because she upgraded you. So
yeah, exactly. It was good. So either she was terrified or she was happy about it. But either way, it worked for me. And so, but yeah, so, that was probably around the late to mid 90s, more in the later side. Mm-hmm. And I think that was just an awesome time to get into Lego. I think most times is a good time to get into Lego, I guess. But and that's when I kind of started, I think, with like Rock Raider sets. Mm-hmm. And my timeline gets a little fuzzy. And then definitely the original line of Star Wars sets.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And like I think I had almost everything from the original 2 or 3 waves. You might have seen in that vlog, we had the first Millennium Falcon, and my mom, bless her heart, she meant well, but she went out and glued it, like sprayed it with glue,
like the adhesive, like 3M stuff or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Because to her credit, I mean, that's on Lego, man, because that thing fell apart like just by looking at it. And so it was a pretty bad one, and like that's one of those sets that even the nostalgia factor like doesn't make it any better. Like I look at it,
I feel you 100%.
Right? Especially, and it's got like all that blue in it. And
well, you were probably trying to play with it and like swoosh it and whatnot, and it was like falling apart. And she was like seeing you struggle with it, and she was like, "Yeah, we're gonna glue this thing together."
I wish it was more like that, but no, it would like. I didn't even know how to play with Lego. I don't think I've played with Lego until like Emily and I were together. And I was like, is this how you play? Because I was always just like making dioramas or stuff like that.
Like a model.
Yeah, I had no idea that you're supposed. I still to this day, I'm like, how do you play with things?
Like in terms of that like creative side of just like, or do you do like you don't like take something and like move it around and like attack other things with it.
Or if I do, it's like I'm being a jerk about it and like shooting the flick fire missiles at my sister.
Got it. Yeah. Got it.
Okay. I'm not actually like immersed in it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll see like with the neighbor kids around here, I'll be like playing and like they actually have like things going on, and I'm like, man, that sounds fun. I wish I had that going on. But yeah, so then so I had all those Lego sets, and I pretty much stuck with Lego. Pretty much up through middle school and high school. And in middle school is when I started my YouTube channel back then, which was 2008-ish. And that was the original channel, Master Kush 812. Hey. And what's funny about my favorite part, and Emily gets so mad when she remembers this, but it was called 812 at the end because I was a real big fan of Blink-182. But I also have dyslexia. And something happened there, and I just put the numbers in the wrong order. So it's supposed to be Master Kush 182. And it didn't happen. But then back then YouTube was way different than now. You couldn't change your name or anything.
Yeah.
It was solid. And so that was it. So I was doomed to a life of Master Kush 812. But and so back then I used to do a lot of like stop motion stuff. And so that was 2008. That's about when the Clone Wars came out, at least the movie, and I think the show too. Okay. And that's what really got me pumped. Not that I was still collecting Star Wars. Every I think the episode 2 lines are the ones I missed out on, and that was just because I think war broke out around that time, and so there was a lot going on because my dad was in the military, so wasn't a lot of Lego then. But after that, episode 3 had a lot of those sets, and then Clone Wars came out, and I had that was all I cared about. That's like I lived and breathed Clone Wars Lego, and from I love it so much. Then then my mom was like, I know you like this Lego stuff, but it's going to be pretty hard meeting a girl. And I was like, you just wait, Mom, you just wait. And
she was wrong.
Yeah, I bring that up every now and then. But so then, I went to college to go meet girls and I guess learn. But I forgot the important part of this is so in 3rd grade, which was like early 2000s, Lego was going through this weird change. There was like Jack Stone for a while. I know you guys remember him. He did that guy. Galador, I think, was a thing.
Oh,
that was
the
weird.
OG buildable figs.
Yeah.
and then Bionicle, of course.
Yeah.
And so Bionicle was also the other one I was into. Most kids my age were, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Bionicle, and I was in all three. Yeah.
Right.
And so Bionicle was cool because it was also your gateway into Technic. And
that's true.
Did you get Technic sets? Did you also do Technic then? At
a little bit. I mean, I would consider I had so many Bionicle that I do consider that, Technic.
It was kind of tricky though, because it would lead you into Technic, and then you build a Technic, and you're like, oh, this is not what I thought.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of how it felt. But there was one particular set in the Bionicle ones that came with like a remote control and like infrared technology on it, and it was like this crab that like did this thing. What? And I was able to get that one, and that one like really piqued my interest because I was like, whoa, I can like remote control this thing. And so I started modding that into like tanks. So I used to try to make like World War II tanks, but I would put the treads like on the motor and like push it around, and so it worked pretty cool. And from there, Lego was like trying to get more into this technology thing, and that's when they introduced. Hold on, I brought it from back then. It's when they had this boy, the Lego Mindstorms.
Yeah, that's the first. Is that the original box?
I think so.
Is that the first form of power functions right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, where it all came from. And so, and I even brought the brain from it. So I have it. I haven't booted it up. I don't know if it even still works. You
guys gotta do some video with that.
I need to figure out. The problem is I don't have the infrared, so you can see it here. I don't have the infrared adapter for it. B, I doubt any computer nowadays can even run anything because this is like Windows XP. Maybe
that's a good point.
So, but I still just like having it. Like it's like a cool paperweight.
Yeah, it is. It is very much that. It's really cool. It's really bright and fun.
Yeah, I love it a lot. And so I keep getting sidetracked. So yeah, Lego was going through this weird finding itself phase. How are we gonna compete with technology? So then they threw out this Mindstorm stuff, and I think their initial, and you guys might know better than me, I think their initial target was just kids in general, and it just got scooped by the adult market, and to the point that the adults were so stoked for this that they like hacked it because it's super easy tech to hack, and they hacked it and just wrote their own programs on it. Were doing crazy things, and immediately Lego like high alert was like calling in the SWAT team, like we're gonna sue these guys. And then eventually they like thought about it, and I'm glad they did. And I think this is probably one of the most important things Lego did was not sue people for this, because or go after people for
go after individuals. Yeah,
exactly.
I think at that time Lego's still acknowledging the adult fan base, and like Lego at that time I felt didn't know what they had in front of them yet.
You're right.
As what they are now.
It's very clear looking in the past.
Yeah.
That's evident.
Do we know if they were already involved in educational tools at the time?
And that's where I guess
Lego education. They had Lego education.
Yeah. When did Lego education start? Is what I'm saying.
2003. 14.
So they didn't have it at the time. That's my point.
No. They bought that. There was another company that they bought out. And then did that.
Interesting.
Okay.
I think if I remember my Kevin Hinkle stories.
Oh, gotcha.
Podcast. He mentions it in that podcast. So
they did have this was, I guess, probably around 3rd grade. We had a robotics club at school, and that's where I first got introduced into Mindstorms, was through that. Okay. And so, like, I mean, that's really, like, it's funny. It's crazy that Lego's master plan actually worked. And so they're like, hey, we're gonna like get some kids hooked on Lego, but check this out. We're also gonna try to like implant in their heads computer knowledge, so that way they can get a good job and buy Lego.
Exactly. So now you can afford to buy all the Lego you want because you have a good computer job, and there you are.
From Lego. I know. I like think about it. I was like, wow. And that's like at work. I always bring that up. Like, it's like, man, I would not be here if it wasn't for Lego Mindstorms of all things. Right? Isn't it so bizarre? It worked.
So bizarre. Yeah. But it's like, what's crazy is it was like a big thing, but at the same time it was so little. And I think it takes so little sometimes for us to decide like what we're going to do with our jobs or what we're going to study or what job we take or whatever. There's there's like just a subtle shift that we can do in our lives that is so impactful. And then there's certain things that we do. We try so hard and we're so intentional and work so hard at it and like cannot move or budge or shift or anything. But anyway, not to get
stagnant.
We're hitting something here.
Not to get existential or anything, but it's just kind of, I don't know. It just seems like a little. Sometimes things seem like they're completely out of our control, but that was like clearly a relatively conscious decision that you made, like was to sign up for robotics. Like I don't know what robotics club was like at your school, but at mine was not the coolest.
No, mine wasn't cool either.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. And it was at the same time as like sports practice. So I could never go. And then it was it was probably the biggest boys club that existed.
I would say
my high school. Yeah, it was very much like there was, it was very elitist in its way. It was not welcoming at all for like a girl to like want to go and hang out. There's no way.
But that was in high school. You're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like for this was like elementary school, which was even weird that they were planning it that early. And then this also kind of brings me to, and I'm sure, Claire, as an architect, you get this too, but it's like, when you have a kid and they would like Lego, somehow it gets really projected that they're going to be an engineer.
Yes.
Or I guess in your case, an architect, right? They're like, oh, they like Lego? Engineer, right?
Oh, that's like what parents are so good at. Well, no, my parents were like a little bit different. My mom was like, do whatever makes you happy. And then my dad and my uncle were like, there are 2 degrees that you can have when you go to college, engineering and accounting. They're the only ones that are guaranteed a job once you graduate after your 4-year degree. Those are the 2 degrees that you're allowed to do. So when I chose architecture, my dad pretended that he was like, how's archaeology going for like 4 or 5 years, like way after I graduated.
Wow.
Now he's like so happy. He's so upset I'm taking a sabbatical. He's like, what are you doing? Your career, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, it's just really funny that I had a very different experience. It was like, I played a ton with Lego, but like we can afford a lot of it. And like my parents were like, my dad wanted me to have a lot of like really educational games, but didn't think out a little bit outside the box. He was very much like, okay, let's go get this piece of software. Let's get like the newest computer and let's get her this software that's called Thinker and math games. There we go. That'll be good. So that's what I got. So
that obviously helped you.
I'm really good at math. I'm really, really good at math. Yeah. I mean, I was taking very high levels of math very young, but I barely use any of it now. So what was I
doing? Calculus. I hated it. I still have calculus now.
And I mean, my daughter's in 2nd grade, and they have a Lego coding class.
Really?
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, how is that going? I remember you mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, she's not too into it.
Bummer.
But like what Claire was saying, it's mainly all like little boys and stuff too in that class.
Interesting.
She was the only girl.
Why didn't she like it? Was it the content? Was it the teacher? Was it the environment?
Was it the fact that she's the only girl?
Yeah,
it was more. I think she missed the first class, and then they didn't really help her. They're just like, "Oh, we'll catch up," and then it just didn't. She's like, "You know what?
that's
I'm not
the
digging
Kind of
this."
left behind. That kind of sucks.
Plus,
that's awful and
plus
isolating.
it was distanced also. So.
That's.
It just didn't work because like if she had a question, the teacher didn't really know what to tell her. Like, well, look it up. I'm like, what?
The hell?
That's okay.
Wow.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it was all bad.
I mean,
it's our California education, guys.
Wow. There it is.
I guess theoretically, though, Ninja, you could
I mean,
a whole Mindstorms robotics like lab, at home.
Break it down.
Exactly, and I could see like them teaching it back to you. You're gonna be like, I could do with this Technic set being like that, and then
that'll make a great video.
Dad, get out of here. I definitely remember doing that with my dad. Like I remember, when you used to buy like a computer, a big desktop, it was huge. It was like a whole thing. And it took like a full day to set it up and you'd have to like plug everything in and put it together. Do you remember this? Am I the only one who, yeah. So like my dad, who's an electrical engineer, would be like, ugh, and then he'd like hand it off to me and I would put it together and it was great. And like he didn't, I think the was him like kind of trying to encourage me to do it. And it totally worked. It totally works.
Smart.
Hands-on. Yeah, hands-on learning. Okay.
No.
I mean, I still have the stuff. So maybe
the Mindstorm.
Don't put it away. So use it.
Yeah, I still have it.
That could be a really cool video as well. Like,
that's definitely something super interesting.
You guys just want to see me get frustrated at the computer.
Yes.
That'll be interesting too.
Yeah, I've never seen you get frustrated at anything. Yeah.
I put the thing in the thing. But no, I thought that was interesting though that they had that, and she's only in like second grade. So
yeah, I mean, robotics things are a thing. Like when I worked for Lego, I had a lot of like kind of robotics lead people come in and look for stuff and help. So I didn't know it was a thing until I started working for Lego that robotics Lego robotics leagues are a big deal, and they kind of one of the people kind of gave me like a little rundown of like the competitions and things that they do now, and like they have different age levels, like like all the way up to teenagers, and like these are literally future engineers, and like it's pretty crazy.
It definitely
imagine. I was just gonna throw in like imagine a crossover of BattleBots and Lego.
That's exactly. That's what
they do that. They do that. Yeah.
And I think what's really cool about it is that it definitely attracts, like there is an engineering way of thinking and an engineering mindset, and it attracts people that are like-minded in that way, and not in an it's not supposed to be really exclusive. I think it's supposed to get people that think like that together so they can work together. But is there an echo, by the way? Can you hear it?
No.
Are we good? Okay, good. I was just hearing it's in my head. No, but you know how like in tech companies and stuff, there's always like a project engineer and a project manager that are like paired together, and it's like the like kind of human side, not human, but like the operation side of things, and then there's the engineer.
Oh yeah, I saw it like in the movie The Office Christmas Party. That's how it works.
Oh really? They did that? Okay, well
yeah, they did that.
I know that happens like a lot, I think it would be interesting in like that kind of robotics or like Lego setting of like pairing, like project management and product management. You know what I mean? Like just like kind of tying that together. I don't know, maybe like at the high school level. I think that could be really cool. I don't know if they're doing stuff like that. I know like STEAM and all those programs. Like when I was in undergrad, I started out in engineering, and so I was like in the women's it was like called SWE. I was like whatever. It was like women engineering and science and stuff like that. And we did a lot of programs with like high schoolers, like weekly. We were like running just exhibitions and like practices and like basically showing them like what we do and the thinking process of engineering. It's kind of, and then like when I switched over to architecture, which it is a design process, it's a totally different way of thinking. And it's really cool because I don't know, they actually do tie together. And I think a lot of UX, UI designers have both. They have like the kind of the engineering and the design mindset. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but it would be cool if Lego could like kind of like tie a lot of those more realistic jobs out there that are really in need and have really great paychecks to, just really encourage people to do that kind of stuff. I think that would be really great. It's no longer Lego. Yeah, exactly. So they can buy more Lego, but it's not just any more like architect, doctor, lawyer. You know what I mean? It's not these like three, it's not like, there's so many more ways to like make money and, be impactful in our communities. And anyway, but excuse me, I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
Preach that. No.
What? Why'd you stop?
Yeah, I was into that.
Okay.
No, you had a valid point. Like, why'd you stop?
No, I just think it's like because it touches on like a bigger issue. It's like a lot of us aren't really prepared, and like the university system and like the education system a lot of times is behind, the actual like technology, and it's behind the industry, like where we're trying to feed people into, right? So there's always a delay, but at the same time, academia is always at the forefront of like actual thinking, even though it's like left. So it's all over the place, and I feel like there's no time, no connection.
Different topic on its own.
Exactly.
If you want to dive into our educational system in the United States.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I stopped myself. That's my point. I stopped myself intentionally.
Literally speak for days on why this is kind of an issue. But no, yeah, but you bring up great points. Like Lego in itself is a great stepping stone towards the type of things that you two are doing. That's one of the things I wish I did, but I wanted to do something totally different and I didn't do it. So
but I don't think it's as cut and dry as that. I don't think it's like, oh, like Lego, you can be an engineer, or oh, Lego, you can be an architect. And I think, Ross, that's what you were kind of saying. It's like there's a different way of thinking. Thinking three-dimensionally doesn't just mean these two professions.
Right.
And it's spatial awareness, and is something that's necessary for military, for EMTs, for just race car drivers, for there's so many for athletes. Like it's just a part of your brain that needs to be activated, and that dexterity is incredibly important. Anyway, Ross, so do other people at your work, do they play with Lego?
So actually, interesting about that, because I work with a bunch of nerds, and I like have a few sets in my office. Like I have like the giant buildable General Grievous and like the BB-8 in my office. It's always fun. It makes a good conversation starter. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times now, most people I work with have kids, and they'll bring them in the office, and then they'll see it, and then they'll pester them to buy them sets. And so it's pretty funny. But yeah, there's one person in particular I work in who's also super into robotics. And he has his kids, and they're young kids, and they're building robots all the time.
Awesome.
And I told them about my story, and I think that hyped him. It got my coworker more excited about it, and now he goes to the same Brikx minifigs I go to, and he just always buys gears and Technic pins and everything. He's all there. They build so many things. It's crazy.
He's got to start a channel. It's almost like an ASMR, but it's that guy that's
with the gears all.
He does like one video a month, and it's like he's got like 1 million subs, and he gets like 30 million views. It is like the best like YouTube data analytics you could ever want, and it's cool. And it's if he knows that, that's definitely like not.
I think we've even talked about that channel before. I think he recently had one with like a taco maker, and it was this whole machine, and it made you tacos at the end of it. And I remember thinking, like, I would never put food on my Lego, and then I saw the views on that, and I was like, yeah, I'd put some food on my Lego.
Tacos are always
pretty
good.
Sorry?
No, I said tacos are always good.
Yeah, exactly. But, and then, I have a few other coworkers who, one of them, her husband's really into the Technic cars. Mm-hmm. Which is like really funny because I'm just like, what? And because he gives her all the gift with purchases, and she puts them in her office. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. You're into like gift with purchase from Lego. Like those are like, if you're in the know, you know about those, but you don't get to Target. And I'm like, wow, you have a gift with purchase from December 19th. How'd you get that? and then they'll.
It's my birthday. Wow, very specific.
Oh, nice, nailed it.
Nice one.
But yeah, so there's that too. I forget where I was going. I don't know.
Your coworkers with Lego.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess really where I was going was the whole full circle thing of just like as a kid, I always knew I really wanted to have like those kinds of you saw those pictures of those like middle-aged men with all the Lego sets, and I didn't aspire to be a middle-aged man, but I did aspire to have a lot of those Lego sets.
Inevitable. It's gonna happen.
It happens.
You're gonna be that guy in that picture with that mock in the background.
Yeah, but I'll be happy.
That's what counts.
And then double score for me because my wife's really into it too. So kind of worked out.
I tried that didn't work.
No, she's not into it at all.
Does not care.
As long as, and my mom and I used to joke about this, like, because my mom was like, you're gonna have a really hard time finding a girl who's gonna be into this, and I was like, dude, as long as she's cool with it, that's all I care about.
Right.
That's all you can ask for.
Little did
you got the double whammy on that one. Which actually could be very dangerous.
Yeah, it does get dangerous. Especially when we both have a topping at addiction to Lego. So
yeah, there's no control there.
Yeah.
Did you guys like set up a budget, or like how are you, or is this a topic for another day? Like,
we have a budget. We generally stick to the budget, but the secret to sticking to a budget is if you just increase the budget.
That always helps. Yeah.
I love it.
So there's that. And the channel's pretty, is, I wouldn't say successful, but it's going pretty well. And so there is that. I mean, that's helped out a lot. And it's pretty much offset a good chunk of it, of the hobby. And so that is the nice part about it. But, that was always the goal, is to try to get to a point where, hey, we could at least pay off the sets. Or at least close to it. Some months are better than others, but generally it really helps out.
It's self-sustaining, which is that's way more than you can ask for at this point,
right?
Especially for a hobby,
that's
exactly.
expensive.
Expensive one. Which expensive hobby brings me back to I knew I wanted to have a job that gave me this lifestyle that I could afford to eventually reboot my stop motion channel and collect Clone Wars Lego sets that Lego doesn't make anymore, because I'm not bitter. And where's my Phase 2 Commander Cody?
Oh my God, Ross!
Let it out.
I had to say it, but I really want it.
It's your plug everywhere. Instead of being like, subscribe to Emmasaurus and She Builds.
It's gonna be
where's my commander
of me.
Wow, you completely botched that one.
I know, whatever. I don't care.
You need to watch Clone Wars.
Why would I? Okay, keep going.
But so then and then it was just, like I said, the ultimate irony of it is that Lego gave me the tools necessary to achieve buying more, like living a lifestyle with Lego. And I gotta wonder, like, I'm hoping one day maybe to like meet someone who was like in charge of that and be like, hey man, thanks for getting me addicted to your product.
Changed my life.
Yeah, it changed my life. I love that.
It totally did. It totally changed your life. I mean, I think it changed my life.
Story. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
That's a very happy story.
Thanks. Yeah, and it's just really the unfortunate was just the dark age when I went to college and grad school.
We all get there.
Man, I missed all those Rebels sets,
all
those Clone Wars sets. That's really it. It's my only regret.
But so Emily wasn't like magically into Lego. It wasn't like,
oh yeah.
So what was your secret, man? Like, how did you do it? I think everybody out there wants to know, like, how did you get?
We've been saying, like, we always joke, it's like, maybe we should make this into like a production, but
like a how to, like, that'll be really funny.
we actually made we should do like a how to get your girlfriend into Lego movie, but maybe when we're a little bigger, we'll try something like that where it doesn't sound as cringy as that did.
Yeah.
10 ways to get your girl into Lego.
Maybe the key is to do it while you're small. So if it is cringy, like, oh, that was just an old video.
Oh yeah. Well, Lego YouTube is a whole other can of worms. But just Lego in general. So, the trick with her, so she never had Lego or anything like that. She all she knew about Lego was like, isn't that like a kid's toy? And like, to be fair, like to anyone who doesn't know, think that, like we saw, I think I saw Brikx was on an interview on the news. And I don't know if any of you guys saw that, but it was really messed up because the anchor man kept saying like, you gave up your whole job to go in your basement and play with toys. How does that feel? Wow. And like,
it was really messed up.
Yeah, I was like, wow, really? Did you really do? And you could tell it threw him off too. Like he wasn't ready for that. And so That's a whole other.
Oh man, I wish someone had prepped him.
If I was Brikx, I would have been like, well, I make more money than you.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have been like, no. You have to be subtle. You'd be like, yeah, it's true. I quit my standard job so that I could make my own schedule and set my own timeline and have my own life and not have a boss.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Is your manager okay with you asking me this question?
Drop the mic.
And you know, and he seems like a nice guy, so I doubt he had anything loaded up. I mean, and it sucks because you could tell. Like, I mean, it hurt me when the anchorman came out of nowhere with that, and I was like, wow, what you just came firing at this guy who was nice enough to give you time for your news segment. Anyways,
non-paid, yeah.
Like, would they do that to someone else?
You know? I don't know.
Or is it just because
it's media? I mean, you gotta.
Yeah, it threw me off because it's Canada, and I thought they were nicer than that.
Well, yeah, yes, but there's something like inflammatory about it. I actually told somebody today that I was on sabbatical, you know, taking a break from my job, and they're like, "What are you doing? What's like new in your life?" And they didn't know anything about my Lego hobby ever, and they didn't know that I was like, you know, into it and like putting time into making a channel and investing in the community and stuff. And she's the EMT, you know, or not EMT, she's an ER doctor, and so is her husband, and they both went to Stanford, and you know, they have, you know, everything is great, but she was like, Legos. Like literally 5 times. Nobody I have ever told has had that kind of reaction. And it was just like so much judgment and whatever, you know, it was like, I was like, I literally just finished telling you, I've never been happier. I'm doing great. And like, you look like crap, but I mean, like, I didn't say that, like, you know, like, and it's just like, yeah. Legos. Sure. Say it. What, it doesn't even matter, but like,
it's not even the plural of it.
Right. You're not even saying it right. It's so crazy though, because like if you said it was about Funko Pops, they'd be like, "Oh, that's so cool!" Like,
I don't know if they would have said that. Honestly, like they're just judgmental. It's like there's a lot of people in this area that are very much like that. But I think San
Francisco.
Yeah, and it's like literally the first thing you when you meet somebody like at a bar, at a party, or just like a stranger, you get introduced. It's like, oh, what do you do? Well, this morning I woke up and I brushed my teeth and I washed my face. That's what I do in the morning. What do you do? You know, just like I got so sick of answering that question for so many years, and yeah, it just perpetuates like a culture where like your entire identity is tied to your career, which is unfortunate and stressful, and a lot of people are really miserable with that. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's a different topic.
That's why I want to move to Texas.
But that's also actually like an American thing though too, where it's like you like live to work rather than work to live. You know, that's like a way that we've operated, and that's how, you know, an individualistic country operates as well. So, you know, we have what's like our, you know, federally imposed minimum vacation, 2 weeks? Like that's ridiculous. While France is like 5?
It's a week.
I think it's 10 days, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah,
I think it's state by state actually.
10 days.
It's not
still like a week.
Yeah,
it's
not a lot. It's very, very low.
But you know, like other countries, you know, or like, you know, 2 months, 3 months, or whatever it is, because it's just not. It's not the same thing. It's not the same culture, right? So,
and I think a lot of the pandemics kind of helped with that. At least I certainly don't feel like I'm slaving away as much as I used to, and so that's why I'm worried about going back to the office. I'm like, oh man, am I gonna be just that again?
It's a cog. It's another cog in the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Although my job isn't as bad as a lot of other jobs, I really do like it, but it's just like. Oh God! And it's the drive really in Austin, which you guys in California, you know, traffic,
yeah.
But,
your traffic doesn't faze us.
Well, nothing is like LA traffic, like quite literally nothing.
Yeah, I think LA traffic pretty much takes the cake.
Yeah,
but,
that's why you get a motorcycle.
It's like 4:00 in the morning, and you like get on the what is it? What is the 5? What is it? What's the
5?
Not the 5. No, the one, the Santa Monica. What's the one?
The 10.
No, it's like more numbers than that.
101? 405.
405. You get on the 405 at 4:00 in the morning, it's back-to-back traffic, and you don't understand where it came from or what it is. Doesn't matter what time of day. Every time
I've gone that so much.
I hate traffic when you get to the end and there's nothing. There's just like people just start going. You're like, what the?
You know, traffic comes from tailgating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you leave enough space in front of a car in front of you. There's Disney did a whole thing on this. There's there was like a whole, like back in the day, Disney used to do all these like educational videos and things like that, and it was like Goofy-esque characters. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like there was, I remember seeing a Disney, that I learned this from Disney.
Interesting.
And then
I remember that.
Right, and then at Disneyland,
I saw a YouTube video. That's how I learned that.
As all of us. No, but do you remember like that ride at Disneyland, which was like you would drive the cars and it was like very like 1950s?
Autotopia?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So there was a whole series of videos that came with that, that was like themed in the same thing, and that's where like I remember learning
how to drive.
Not how to drive, but like about traffic.
Like driving.
They had one about hooking up your home theater system also. I remember that.
Oh,
I
remember this.
I'm gonna YouTube all of this right now.
No, I'm interested in this now.
I'm really interested. Yeah.
But
to be fair, right now, since COVID's happened, like traffic in LA, what traffic?
Hey, it's still bad around 5.
It is still bad, but I remember whenever the lockdown first happened, you can literally go from one side of LA to the other in no time. No one was on the freeway. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No smog. It was clear.
Yeah. I remember that. I'm so interested to see like what science comes out of the pandemic, especially those first few months.
Yeah.
I'm
just
so
like
stoked.
the oceans and just ecological, things that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like really interested to see like, hey, what did 1 month of us not polluting do? Like,
I'm sure that someone's working out. You guys should know. You guys are.
Wouldn't it be great if like we could figure out a way that the economy wouldn't be attacked if like we shut down for a month a year or something like that?
Oh, that'd be cool. We just take a month off and then, like
but the entire world takes a month off, like at the around Christmas, New Year.
That'd be actually pretty good. But not to pull it back a little bit, but I mean, it is this pandemic did, I guess, showed a lot of employers that your employees will be fine without coming into the office.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think it will permanently change a lot of that for a lot of different jobs. The ones that it can change, like desk jobs and things like that, I think it will change it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually not required to come back in the office anymore.
Awesome. See? Look at that.
Although I want to because I'm more productive, but like they're letting us do.
No, you're not supposed to say this on that. You're supposed to.
I know, but
I'm more productive at home. That's interesting that you say that. Do you? Yeah, like
distracted.
I was in too many meetings. Like I would spend 3/4 of my day in meetings, just sitting, talking, and then the productive part of the day would start at the end of the day. While now, I was able to, while I was on the calls instead of the meetings, I was able to be productive at the same time. Like I didn't have to just sit there and stare and take notes and like chime in when I needed to or like lead it. I mean, the ones that I lead are obviously a little bit different, but yeah. And then when managing people and stuff, there's people think a little bit more and they help themselves and they Google things before they call you and pick up the phone or ping you to ask you a question. So that was great. I was tenfold more productive. And in doing so, was tenfold more keen to just start working, just nonstop, because I was like just pumping stuff out, and it felt great. But I couldn't develop those boundaries, which is why I'm taking the time off. So
interesting. Yeah, I wish I had that. No, I just get distracted because there's a Lego room on the other side of the house.
Well, yeah.
It looks like it's break time.
Where your wife is live streaming with like all your friends.
Yeah,
and like,
she's always like, how should I film this video? And I'm just like, I don't know. Let me go.
Let me take a 10-minute break.
And then, and with my company, it's a privately owned company. Like we as employees own it, so like it does like kind of what you're saying. Like we live to work, but it's like I kind of do because now my livelihood is tied to my production.
Yeah.
But and so there is a lot of that. But yeah, I'm probably gonna do like half a week in the office, half a week at home, kind of thing.
Makes sense.
And yeah, so it'll be pretty nice. I know Emily's gonna be pretty bummed when I'm not here, so it'll be that.
Let's get another dog to keep her company.
We don't need any more dogs.
Oh my god, she's work enough.
Yeah, well, that and they get expensive. Like she just had another UTI. She always has problems with those, so we always have to take her. But by the way, get dog insurance. That's the way to go. But real quick before the hour wraps up, we were talking about convincing Emily to get into Lego.
Yeah. Let's go back.
We went total left on that one. Bring it back. Thanks for this.
I just thought of it too when I mentioned Emily. But yeah, so okay, real quick with Emily, she had never heard of Lego. She thought it was a toy. That's how we got on that whole rant. And then, but So we met pretty early when I moved to Austin, and so she came over to my apartment one day, and I was just really slow about packing things or unpacking things, and I had like a box of like my Lego Star Wars stuff that I did end up getting in grad school, which was like, the X-Wing and like a TIE fighter or something.
Mhm.
And she kind of like pointed out, I was like, oh, what's that? And I was like, oh yeah, it's my Lego Poe Dameron X-Wing. And she was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. And I was like, all right.
Okay. All right. You got the hook.
All right.
She didn't know how many points she had just gotten from
Yeah,
that
yeah.
very simple
Okay.
statement. Yeah.
This is good. And I was like, all right, we're off to a good, because that's a good test. And that's what I used to do with all my ex-girlfriends is just be like, just, hey, how comfortable are you? Like if we're at Target, like, oh man, I might go buy a Lego set. And then some were more judging than others. But those didn't work out.
Yeah,
And,
testing partners is always a great idea. That's always good. Yeah.
That is a good like.
It's not awful.
That's a good little test, though.
Testing is, yeah, I mean, to a degree, but like testing your partners is bad to do, I think. Yeah.
Anything past that, it's
Yeah.
a little more weird.
Yeah. See, that's why that's a good little test. She's like, I'm gonna go look
Yeah,
at
just
the
because,
Lego sets.
you want
It's like just a litmus test. That's all. It's not really like
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
like-
and that's
yeah.
exactly what it is.
It's not a colonoscopy. It's just a little like
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Like, hey, I really want this
You're
Iron Man
cool.
sub with the red skull.
And then you
that's
look
what
at the
I remember
facial
from that
expression.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh,
And
crap.
so, but yeah, so she was like kind of into it. And then I would do the thing where like, oh, hey, let's go to the mall. I need shampoo because I don't have any hair. And right next to the shampoo store is the Lego store.
Nice.
And we were like, oh, look in there. And it was the Disney Castle that was always my like go-to because she's from Orlando.
Mhm.
She loves
you
pretty
planned
much-
it. Oh,
yeah, I'm pretty good at this stuff. Wait till you see how my proposal went.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, yeah. We don't know that
now this
one.
is a story that I haven't heard yet. So yeah, keep going.
So I kind of convinced her to go in and take a look, and she had no idea. Like it was like awesome seeing a full grown person, like just eyes wide open in a Lego store.
Pause. All right. So let me get this timeline correct. Okay. So you've been dating for a while, right? Before getting to this one point.
Probably a few months. Yeah.
Okay, a few months. Okay. And in that time frame, you've not walked by a Lego store together.
Well, only because it's in the mall, and we don't normally go to the mall. But we would go. I would go check out like in Target. I'd go at the Lego
Yeah,
aisle.
that's what I was about to say. Like you didn't see, like you don't go through the Lego aisle and Target at all with her.
Yeah, I did, and she knew about that, and she was like, whatever. She would just go to the home improvement or the furniture aisle or whatever.
Oh
Just
yeah.
look at
So
that
she
stuff.
just had
by the way.
questions at that point.
Yeah,
Okay.
and, like,
go to Lego. All right.
and I knew the Target Lego aisle. That's not my selling point. I had to save it for the Lego store.
Nice. Man.
And
This is-
where the
this is
D2D sets
educational.
are. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. And so, yeah, I took her there, and I remember showing her the Disney Castle, and just her eyes were just huge. And like, she was like, "What? They make this?" And I was like, "Yeah, and it might retire anytime now."
Oh my
No,
goodness.
you didn't. Did you actually think it was going to retire or no?
Or you just said it. You just said it.
Well-
Just tell me, just said it.
I pretty kind of. It's more like I wasn't really as into Lego. Like I was always into Lego, even when I came back, but I wasn't like in the know.
Right.
much.
So you knew that was always a risk. Like,
Yeah, so I knew that sets just came and go, and then they're gone, and then the resale market, and then you cry. And so,
Cry.
as we all know, and so I was like, yeah, and it's like, it's cool, and this is like one of those sets that whenever it retires, it's just gonna go crazy through the roof. And then then we got on a whole explanation about the resale market, and at the time she was in a clothing company that she really liked, Lily Pulitzer. I don't know if any of you guys know that one, but it's got a very similar market to Lego. Like
It does. It's like the pattern, the prints and stuff are limited edition, and they're seasonal, and they don't come back. Yeah.
And then they retire, and then there's a massive resale market, and
Exactly.
that was another way for me to it was a really good analogy for me to use.
Yeah.
Was like, hey man, it's very similar to this Lily Pulitzer clothes that like are worth more used, like not used, but over time they're worth a lot.
Used too. Yeah.
Don't they do like? I thought I have like notebooks and like stuff like that.
They have some
like,
accessories.
got it.
They have gift with purchases. A lot of those are gift with purchases too. Like I mean, like,
sounds good. It was definitely a gift. I realize now I was gifted a gift with purchase.
Probably.
Okay.
But yeah, you probably were.
Yeah.
But so that was a good like other kind of thing. But at the time, I had just started my job and she was still in school, so like we weren't buying Disney castles or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some loans I still had to pay off. And so, anyways, time kind of went by, and I knew that there was a Brikx and minifigs up in North Austin, and so I convinced her one day after taking her out for brunch or something up north. That was my plan. I was like, hey, by the way, since we're up here, you mind if we stop at this Brikx and minifigs? And she's like, what's that? I was like, oh, it's like a reused Lego store. And she's like, that sounds gross. And I was like, well, it is, but it's also great.
Gross. I love it. That's exactly what I would have said. Like,
yeah.
If you think of little kids and like their teeth marks and
right. I mean, when you don't think about it, you think it's just a bunch of kids. And like it used to be kind of, I wouldn't say gross, but I didn't like when they had the party room because they were.
Mine has a party room. Yeah.
Yeah, when the pandemic started, they got rid of it and it just became storage. But so we went there, and that's when she saw the Scooby minifigures.
Ooh,
and so they didn't have any of the Scooby sets, but they did have.
You didn't know it was going to be there, though. There's no way.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But I think I had hyped her up to it too. I did tell her about Lego Scooby-Doo before, so I think she went there with the hope of like maybe there'll be something. But unfortunately, the only figures that were there were like Shaggy and Scooby. And the cat's up to something.
He was chewing on my Paradisa set.
Oh no!
Yeah,
it's fine. He's gone. He knew what he was doing. Demon.
But so but then I ended up finding the Women in NASA set, and that I bought it for her because she's also in STEM, and she was really excited about it. So it was her first Lego set, and it was really adorable, like watching an adult get their first Lego set because she had no idea what she was doing. And she just opened it, and she just opened all the bags and put it in a pile.
Thank God it's really small, though.
Yeah, I was like, thank God. And I remember she was struggling. Like, she had a hard time. She was like, I don't get any of this. Like, what is this? And then so I kind of went over one page with her, and I did it. And I was like, see, it's pretty much just a game of what's the difference between these two pictures?
Yeah,
and find the pieces. Yeah. And then she really liked it, and she got really attached to the Margaret Hamill, who was the woman programmer for NASA, and she wrote this. Yeah, there you go, Hamilton. Sorry, and that's the funniest. She has the giant Stack Overflow, and that's all code. That's all computer code used to get to the moon, and it's all on paper, and you feed it in. And she wrote that whole thing herself. It's crazy. And so she always used that. She kept it at work as her inspiration. Anytime her code wouldn't run, she would always look at that. So it was really cute. And then eventually we went back and we found the Mystery Machine new in box. And it was pretty much a downhill slope from there, or uphill, I guess, depending. Then she got her job, and it was a pretty good paying job. And her first paycheck went straight. It wasn't even me who put it in her head. She was like, we're going to Lego store and we're getting the Disney castle.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's where it started.
Yeah. Well, it started years before that, but I had planted it.
You planted it. See?
You took your time with it. That's what you did. You just kind of you can't force it. That's pretty much what
you're saying. A long con is what you call that.
Yeah. That's the Ocean's 11 right there.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't just walk her into the basement like, this is my collection.
Nothing like that. You gotta start slow. You gotta be patient.
Walk her into the basement. My God. Yeah.
And then eventually that led to the channel, which that's also kind of out of left field too, because I just wanted to be with someone who was okay with it. That was.
Wait, so at this point, she never knew about your YouTube channel yet?
I had mentioned it casually. She claims I downplayed it a lot, but at the same time, I didn't realize how big it was after I left it. And I also didn't realize, in 2008 through 12, when I was operating, it was way easier to get bigger. You got subs for nothing, just existing.
Right.
And I had I don't know, 5 million views on the channel. By the time I came back, I didn't even know. And just with all the random stop motion stuff. And so unfortunately, she lost her job earlier in the pandemic. And, we're just kind of talking about like, man, what should we do? And I was like, well, I mean, this is kind of weird, but like, I don't know. Have you ever wanted to be like a YouTuber? And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And I used to have this channel, which I had told her about. And I was like, yeah, I used to have this Lego stop motion channel. And, it's always been my intention to come back and reboot it and start doing that kind of stuff. And she was like, really? And then she like went on my channel and saw how many like views and everything I had. And she was like, wow, can we do this? Like, can we try this? And I was like, yeah, I mean, there's like no chicks on Lego YouTube. Like, this should be pretty easy. A little bit, I know. Sorry?
There's Brick Queen, but...
Yeah, Brick Queen. Well, I explained that one because I do remember I was around when Brick Queen was too.
Yeah.
But other than her, and by then she had been gone. Pretty much. And so other than that, there wasn't really any. And then I guess meanwhile, that whole time we were plotting our return, I think is when Holly also did something similar where she came back too. So I think she came back about a month before us.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, and then, I guess there's like CC was also operating around that time. But I think that's really it from the beginning, the earlier parts of the pandemic. I think that's all I really remember of the women who started it. But yeah, and then so now we're doing this.
And that's how AFOL wife became a thing. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Awful.
It was so funny. We thought it was so funny.
I thought it was funny.
I thought it was dope.
But I think you probably made a decision for the best.
Yeah. After a while, we're like, it sounds a little cringy. Also, we just got married, so like it also sounded weird. And on top of that, some people had told her that like you shouldn't be so down on yourself and call yourself an awful wife. And then they're like, no, it's like a joke. Because okay.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously ridiculous, but yeah, it's
yeah. Well, before that, we were deep fried Brikx for like a 2-week stint. That was a fun.
Wow. Interesting.
I like that one. I like that one. Yeah.
I think it was funny, and then it didn't feel like we lived up to that. That was too cool of a name for us.
Well, you dodged the brick name.
Yeah, and then that was the other one. We tried. We were like, man, there's too many bricks.
There are a lot of bricks. Yeah.
And so and sometimes it even confuses me. Like other people have like the same names, but like brick is in it, but it's like on the opposite side of the word.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, oh god. But not to call you out, Ninja.
Cold-blooded. No.
Cold-blooded.
Fair.
But sorry,
okay. I had brick in my name and I took it out.
Oh really?
Really? What was it?
Yeah.
SHYtime is my brick time.
Ah.
See, yours was easy to change though. You're like SHYtime is my time. I tried, but I was like, dang, I don't know. Ninja just doesn't work.
You can do the other one. Block.
There's another one, yeah, a big one.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Not to bring it back, but I want to hear this wedding scene.
The proposal.
There's another Lego couple out there that has a really good Lego proposal story. So I want to see if that matches, or if this one's better.
Lego isn't involved in this one.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But
go ahead. You brought it up, so I want to hear it.
Okay. But on our wedding, we did put the wedding brick heads on the cake. Nice. So there was that. But no, essentially, I'm really bad about planning things. Like I just suck at it. Every time I try to plan something, nothing happens. Like I'll make reservations to a restaurant and they'll show up and they'll be like, "Oh no, you made those for next year." And I'm like, "What?"
Ooh, I'm the same.
It just always happens. Like I can't. If I wanted to be a planner, I can't. So that's why I don't do it. So, anyways, she had been pestering me, like, "Hey, when are you gonna propose?" And I was like, and dodging the question because I had it planned, kind of, but I needed to like kind of throw her off a little bit. So I had told her that like, hey, don't ask me any more about this until like the end of the year, and then that's where it'll be free game, like expected sometime at the end of the year. And she was like, okay, I can live with that. Like, at least there's a timeline. The meantime, my plan was to do it that November. And I did that by like kind of cohorting with her best friend and just saying like, hey, we want to take a vacation, like a couple's vacation in Fredericksburg, which is like Texas's Napa Valley kind of thing. And essentially, I was able to convince Emily to plan the whole thing.
My goodness,
she
you're
didn't
such
know.
a mastermind.
Oh my god.
They're straight up like, okay, we know who the real Emmasaurus is. That's pretty much what it is.
We thought, I was like, maybe we'll do like a whole thing about you behind the scenes, how you're really the master kush, the mastermind of Emmasaurus. But we know that this is absolutely no. As you went to go be Master Kush 182, the great success of Master Kush 812.
812.
Yeah, I was trying to be dyslexic for a second. All right, go ahead.
I know that's like a metaphor for all things planning and getting things out the door. Good job, Ross.
Thanks.
Well, at least what when you see a good thing and invest your time and energies into wonderful things like Emily. So
oh yeah, she's the best.
Yeah.
But I would your idea. I'm very interested in that. So if your following ends up telling you they want to see something like that, I'd be happy to come back for a later one.
I love that. That'd be really great.
Emily says she would like to come on too whenever you invite her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We invited you first. So well, you might have.
You guys are more than welcome to invite yourselves,
which I had to do.
That's what Ross did, FYI. So yeah, please, people, invite yourself. It's
awkward.
It's like awkward to ask people to be like, hey, do you want to like commit a chunk of your time to like come hang out with us? So if you're interested, always please reach out to us and ask if you want to come chill with the Cali Brick.
Come on down. We don't bite.
We don't bite. Just don't move to Texas and raise my taxes.
Oh, my bad. That's Shy. That's this guy down here. He's the one who wants to go to Texas.
He's not going to raise my taxes.
I'm not raising no taxes. I'm all for lowering taxes.
Oh my god. Okay, before we get into taxes, guys, I think we'll wrap it up. Does that sound like a plan? Any final thoughts from anyone?
No. Now I know who the puppet master is. Is it Emily or is it Ross?
I have
we work well together. It's both of us.
Yeah, you can tell. It's
teamwork, right?
Yeah.
It is. I mean, the channel is geared more to be about her, and that's how I want it to. I don't really care to be a face that much. I just kind of like the support and IT. That's pretty much it. And we do a lot of. I mean, I think I'm more of the ideas person.
And production and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of that just comes because like it's a Lego channel, and I've been in Lego my whole life, and she's only been kind of into it 3 years, and really into it only for like a year and a half.
It's a good balance that has that you having the experience and her kind of being a little not to sound negative, but like being fresh will be the better way. I was gonna say,
well, because it makes
more innocent to a lot of the things.
Well, I think it's accessible. I think for like newer fans of Lego as well. You know what I mean? Their experience.
That's what we put on our LAN application. Oh, by the way, we have the LAN. Good night, everybody.
That's it, folks.
No, that's it. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining us.
That was a good one.